Oh boy.
Yo, you have any other hypotheticals we could argue about for a half an hour?
I got nothing right now. That
was
even
it? I cannot believe you decided that you wanted to seed the episode with that.
Look, if I think of another hypothetical, I'm just opening the door to be abused for the next half an hour.
You knew, you said it, you prefaced it with, I know this is going to stretch out the entire episode.
Yeah, and it did. We got front to back talking about cryptids, and now I don't want to bring up another thing hypothetical because you got really yelly. I mean, I feel real. Yeah.
You are reading aggression as me trying to get the facts straight.
Yeah, because I'm not well socially adjusted.
Yeah, you don't like confrontation. Even if the confrontation is as little stakes as would the chupacabra bring a vegetable platter because he's thinking about everyone else.
He's yelling.
Yeah.
He's yelling again.
Actually, what I was angry about is the dino nugget still. I don't understand why he would be luring children to a potluck for cryptids.
Lootlads.
I wanted to say I was gonna yell at you again for something stupid, but I feel like we need to put the aggression down a little bit.
We need to bring some cheer. We need to bring some too many spins.
I think the hypothetical of whatever we were talking about last time, which will not be named. Because he would bring a vegetable platter, and I don't
give it up.
I enjoyed our last potluck, by the way.
That was good banana bread you made.
Yeah, thank you. I liked your cheesecake when I had it. Yeah.
That brought immediate tears to my eyes. Because the first compliment you've given me.
In life, or like...
Just today.
Okay. I'm not here to compliment you. I'm here to like yell at the microphone.
I mean, nothing about the Tetramon. Hey, look at this.
Do you think I'm gonna fly off the handle at the mere mention of Dino Nuggies? I have a lot more like composure than that.
I have a lot more smaller things that will break the last straw on this back, baby.
Yeah, like I don't even know what would send me off, but like if you say the wrong thing, I will yell. But I have a little bit more like glue in me that I wouldn't just immediately like crumble out of something silly like Dino Nuggies.
I know one thing that would like, if I think about it, still makes me angry, is the ending of PsyOps. Still to this day, I'm mad about it.
See, I think I've let go of a lot of microaggression.
Care to fill me in win?
Not the one that I've created today.
Okay. That's a new one that's going to be a week's long.
Yeah, long-standing microaggressions, but the Dino Nuggie thing and the Chupa thingy will probably be a little bit of a meme until I forget about it. But like I feel like I don't have enough bitter no, I have a lot of bitter to spread out. It's just more so I've forgotten. I've left.
You've got like a bitter pate.
Yes. I've dished it out enough that I'm now receiving it back. Like I now have a capacity. Like you know how in
you brought too much and now you got to eat it yourself.
Yeah. Like you know how in certain video games like there's like an energy bar that you have to like. I guess it's a mana bar. I've spent all of my mana and now I'm regenerating it back because I've let it go. Yeah. Like the passive abilities that spend the mana are now off. So I can push that further. I've made this the like most fucking cringy nerdiest analogy for I've let go of certain things that bother me so that I can have more room for bother.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good job. You've
I'll talk to a therapist later. That's fine. Yeah.
Man, last time I talked to a therapist, bad time.
What do you mean bad time? Bad time as in like they forced you to feel things that you didn't feel, or bad time as in like they didn't do enough for you?
They like. Just to peel back the brain, bad stepfather made bad brain, was dealing with weird, undiagnosed, I guess, traumas from childhood. Hooray. So I was feeling a lot of that, and we have access to, like, a phone therapy through my work. That's free, and it's, like, value added, I guess. So I was like, that's pretty cool. I'll take advantage of that. And, like, dude did everything that, like, was
was it in the FAQ and then they decided to put that as like, this is what I shouldn't do?
It felt pretty much like that. Like he did everything in his power to sound exactly like my stepfather. Like without even realizing it. He was just like
in my head immediately I was like, so your problem with your current cohort in your life right now is because he calls something like this and he always argues the little facts type of thing, so like maybe you should stop being so incredulous type of thing.
Like Chris,
exactly
Chris,
like
is it you?
Yeah. Like they did do something like that.
No, I obviously, wow, I am white straight male. I have problems understanding feelings sometimes, and like I didn't know why I was feeling a whole bunch of anxiety, and I couldn't quite pinpoint it, and I was looking for any sort of help that could be a through line. And all he did was go, "Oh, why are you feeling that way? Well, tell me what's wrong. Well, you gotta be wrong in some way. What's wrong with it? What's wrong with you?" And like just constantly belittling me for not knowing how I felt because I'm calling to figure out why I'm feeling the way I'm feeling.
You know, therapy is more of an art than a science, unfortunately.
Yeah.
I do enjoy the I don't know why I'm feeling this way, and the immediate like, yeah, but why are you feeling like that though?
Exactly. Yeah. It's like, well, there's gotta be some reason. It's like, cool. Would love to know what it is. That's why I'm calling.
If we're pulling back a little bit of the curtain, I've always had a feeling of a little bit of like I'm lost, type of thing. So like I don't actually particularly know what I like to enjoy. All I know is that currently in the now I'm enjoying this, so I'm going to be doing it.
Yeah.
And then my functions that will have me plan for the future or thinking about developing something that I can enjoy in the future just don't particularly work. And it's half me kind of refusing myself to say something or to think about and plan ahead of something that I want to do. So for example, like the drawing thing, I'm absolutely lost because I don't know how people do it legitimately. Like it not in the mechanical sense either of how do people learn to enjoy this?
Yeah, how do you get up? How do you practice it? And immerse yourself into it? Like you do your warm-ups and then you start drawing? Like that just seems crazy to me.
I've talked a lot of people I say to a lot of people, I've talked a lot to a few specific people about every time I pick up something, I feel like I'm learning it wrong, which is the worst feeling, by the way.
I've had that.
Like if you pick up a thing and don't struggle with learning it, like you compartmentalize it, I'm insanely jealous and hold on to that. Like it fucking sucks to go, yo, I have a process in my brain and they're teaching me, but every single time I do it with my hands and I don't do it in the way that my brain equates to me doing it correctly, I completely shut down. It fucking sucks. And what will tie this to your therapy thing of them asking of trying for you to produce a fact that you physically don't know is that I wanted to do other things with my life other than like what I'm currently doing for a job and what have you. But the number one question that I get asked is, what are you interested in? And that is 80% of the problem. Yeah. It sucks when you can't, when you feel like you don't know how to learn. And again, it's more of an art than a science. Like the real answer is just to do it until it feels good in your brain. And unless it's a mechanics thing in life, like if you train to be an electrician, there's normally like a way to be an electrician that's socially acceptable, professionally acceptable, really. But anything like the starting line really fucking sucks because when you're not sure what you think you'd enjoy, it's really hard to do that. And yeah, it really. My problem is I just need to pull the trigger on a lot of stuff, which has always been the problem. Did you just buy that card? He wants to trade it immediately.
Get out of here. It doesn't mine now.
That's a high in demand card.
Give me that. Like my job was just basically an accident. Yeah. Like I had no idea what I wanted to do. I had no fucking goals. I was like, I just have to go back to school and do something. And it just turned out I kind of liked it, but I was already immersed into it and kind of forced to like it. So my point of that introspection is that just doing it and like really asking anyone in that situation, what do you want to do, is fucking the worst. It's rough. Really, it's less do you think you'd enjoy this, and more
you do better doing this. Like a more direct suggestion, I guess, would work better for me, because now essentially in my mind you've said, oh, I think you'd be good at doing this, and even though I have no idea what to do, and I have no previous knowledge, like if you told me, I think if I was looking, hey, I think you'd be good at doing pharmacy shit. Like I think
at least that points you in a direction.
yes, that's absolutely true. Like even though it's baseless. Like
Yeah.
if you come up to me randomly and for some reason that I was looking for a job, and you'd be like, yeah, I think you'd do well going into chemistry or whatever. Now I have a feeling to attach to that someone said, hey, I feel like I can learn chemistry, and I'd be much more motivated to learn chemistry.
Yeah, it's really hard to get yourself in a direction when you're spinning around.
And like, I don't know if that has any, like, again, I psychology is more so a art than a science at the moment.
Yeah.
But it's a lot better than saying like, yo, why do you feel this way? And I'm like, I don't fucking know.
Yeah.
If I knew that, I'd be fixing myself.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, come on.
if I knew the answer to that, I wouldn't be talking to you right now, bud.
Man, isn't this better than me arguing about you with a
Yeah.
about a charcuterie board or whatever, like potluck?
You don't even remember now. See, let's move on.
You see, I had a bitter moment where I think that Chupacabra would bring a vegetable plate, and I have forgotten it. I don't care. You could say that he would bring a fucking goat all you want, and I'd probably be like, yes, Devin, you are kind of a fucking dumbass.
Yeah, that's fair.
Sorry, I had to bring that back to like a bitter hatred comedy, because that's what we're known for. Yeah.
Yeah, throughout the land.
Anyway, sorry, you were saying something and I interrupted with a flow.
I don't really have, like, oh yeah, new year and stuff. What are we gonna do with it? And like, I think that's, I'm starting to realize that's kind of an unhealthy thing. Like, oh yeah, now you started this year and you have to think of something that you want to do for this year, and then by the end of the year, typically you won't achieve it, and now you're gonna feel like a failure by the end of the year. I think that you just try stuff. Like, don't even make it like, I want to do this. Just like give it a shot and see if you like things, right? Like,
I've heard a few interesting perspectives to like push yourself to do something. One of the most interesting perspectives I think about, and I don't know if I can compartmentalize it the way that he meant it, is that if whenever you're doing something new, pretend you've already succeeded in it, and this is just part of the process of doing something similar.
Yeah, that's the whole fake it till you make it situation, right?
But like, faking it till you're making, like, in my mind, fake it till you're making, it's always been a performative thing.
Yeah.
Of like, I'm showing other people that I know what I'm doing, but you know. And the point that you know really breaks the illusion for me, which is like, I don't like lying. Like, I like joke lying to people. Like, oh, hey, I made this smile. Like that's really funny to me, but I don't think I could convince another person that I did something or have the ability to do something when I haven't done it already.
Yeah.
But tricking yourself is the most important way. Like, I could just flat out lie. I could lie to your face and be like, yeah, no, I made a game, like, whatever. Technically I have.
Yeah.
But like, I wouldn't consider that making a game. Because that it never was released. It's not polished. It didn't do anything. Like, I didn't do anything with it. But if I could trick myself to say, yeah, I fucking made a game. Yeah, I'm just gonna do it again.
Just do it again.
Yeah. Like that little half truth will carry me in motivation, as opposed to I've not done any of this before. I'm lost in the fucking forest of my brain. How do I get started? Yeah. No,
Yeah.
it's very difficult to get into that, and even just realizing ways that you trick your body into doing things is really it's fascinating. It's art more than a science.
Wow. Yeah, I like. This year I do want to, like, there's so many things that, how many times have we said something creative in the car ride home of like, oh, I want to do that, and then like, where are we?
Yeah.
I've compiled a bunch of different things for like that tabletop RPG thing now. I found a couple bits of like software or like little things to keep things in a direction, I guess, so that way I can actually like tie things back and link things together and make things make sense.
Have you considered opening up the Pandora's box of releasing your idea to be criticized by random people on the internet?
I was making it on stream before.
Oh, fair enough.
Yeah, and actually I sourced a couple of ideas from people online, or like during streams, that are still in my they're in my spreadsheet and actually attributed to users on Twitch. In some case, and I haven't touched it because I got real sick for a while and I haven't streamed very much. So this is another year where I want to get into streaming again. And all that stuff. Like, I don't know. There's
saying things is definitely a lot easier than doing them.
Oh my god, is it ever?
Yeah, it ties back to you're like, I'm going to declare every year that I'm going to be doing something, and then you just end up not doing it. Like, yeah. I honestly think that tricking yourself into believing you've already done a thing is it goes a little bit harder than just saying it, to be honest.
I think I want to... I think the biggest thing, I think, for my RPG to kind of get me off the ground and working with it is I need a way... And, like, right now, the best thing I have is a fucking Excel spreadsheet. But, like, a way to everybody visualize what I need them to, like, see informationalized. Information-wise? Ooh,
I like the word informationalized, by the way.
Hell yeah.
Yo, get fucking taught. Informationalized.
But yeah, a way to... 'cause there's going to be some complicated... With every tabletop system, there's a bunch of complicated stuff to it. Like, oh, I'm rolling this, but with a plus this, because I forgot about this feat here, and I've got this weapon here, which gives me this ability to blah, 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 or whatever.
Yeah.
Those things could be kind of confusing to kind of keep track of. And I wanted to make a good way to keep track of that. And once I have that in a way that's, like, user-friendly, I think that's going to be my biggest... Oh, I nearly threw up. Off to the races, like, motivation for me.
You should play Path of Exile while developing it or during this game, because it feels like Path of Exile wants to do kind of the same thing, but less structured.
Yeah, like, seeing the PoE skill tree is like, wow, what a holy grail. But, like, I need a way to keep that in a way for people to kind of understand where things are.
Even how you get skill gems in that game, and again, it's free-flowing. Like, anyone can wield any ability so long as you have the stats for it. But how you get skill gems initially is there's a item in the game called Arcane, or, well, just blank tempo, so martial tempo. And that's a skill gem you can slot into any martial ability. And what the text reads, 20, like, you just buff your speed by 20% or whatever. I can't remember the exact. So that skill goes off 20% faster if you didn't have the skill gem. But in order to get the skill gem, you have to find a weapon or an ability that has the ability to create that skill gem. So as an example, every time I start a hardcore character that wants to use a martial weapon, I have a quarterstaff that has the ability martial tempo that I can rip from it so I can put it on other things. And it's not exactly what you want to go for, but it's a mindset of, if I want this ability, I have to go get this thing first so that I can extract what I want out of it. And I'm not sure where you want to go with your particular, like, equipment system, but I feel like it's a nice little thing to think about. Even if it's this makes sense that this weapon has this, or this ability has this a bit, like, attached because it has a synergy with itself, but I can apply it to something else that it has a synergy with, which is why if you think about, like, Arcane tempo, which is the exact opposite, it's just casting, but it's faster. Like, I think about Flame Wall the entire time. It's iconic to me that I do Flame Wall for Arcane tempo because that's what it's attached to initially, and then I can just extract it from other things.
Yeah, and kind of I want to have basically a fancy looking spreadsheet or like a page or an app or something like that like tracks, like, oh yeah, your tempo or whatever, you've got this much bonus haste.
Yes.
And like you can kind of see all that, and then like see what the result of that is. Like, oh, what does that mean? Do I get an extra attack, or like does the cooldown of this reduce a little or something like that? Like,
so I don't know if you want to talk about it like on the show, but I'm kind of curious as to like how equipment ties into a bit. Like, is it going to be a because in Final Fantasy, for example, you have an ability attached to a weapon. Like Excalibur always has Bone Crusher, for example, or like Save the Queen always has an ability that if you equip it, you have it. But you have to have the equipment in order to use the ability. But eventually in Final Fantasy, you get the option as you're using it to like learn and have it be a part of your kit. Do you think your thing is that quarterstaffs always have martial tempo, and the only thing that has martial tempo is quarterstaffs until you learn out of it? Or do you think like the archetype of quarterstaffs are always just going to have arcane or Martial tempo, you know what I mean?
No, it's mostly like I want to put skill trees.
Oh, I see.
And skill trees are... Ooh, almost took that outside.
So I guess as well, by skill tree, do you mean like a talent tree based off of what you equip?
No, it's a talent tree based off the class. Okay. That's like, it's a very class-based,
So it's more Diablo than Path of Exile.
Yeah, it's more, yeah, basically. Like, you pick a class, and then there's like kind of 2 to 4 ways you can play it, in a way. You can build one tree, you can build both trees, you can build just the other tree or whatever. If you build both trees, it's kind of like dual classing, so it's not going to be like super effective. Unless it's like a specific, like the elementalist idea that I have is kind of encouraged to split down 2 trees. So you get to a certain cap, and then like, oh, you start getting points into this. Ooh.
Do you think? Hello.
Cool.
Nice. I think an interesting idea to explore is at a certain level, like randomly at like 10th level. Like you see all your skill trees and stuff. But at 10th level, you can either keep going down the skill tree or... Actually, it really depends. I'm really just inserting my own design idea to your thing that you have going on. The skill trees, as an example, if 20th level is the maximum level, do you have like a... Kind of like in World of Warcraft, where there's a main skill that you're expected to reach at level 20? Or are the accumulative skill points on the maximum level as you're playing? You, like, for example, at level 15, you'll reach the bottom of your skill tree, but then your extra 5 points that you get from leveling up to level 20 can be spent however you want.
Mostly that one, yeah.
Okay, all right. That I like that idea then. Never mind. That's just like my initial thought was, if you go to level 10 as an example, you have like a prestige skill tree that has something that like is either generally really good or twists the class in a way. But you have to sacrifice the skill points that you would be putting in like the fire tree as an example. But
yeah.
that is not the system. You're basing it more so like on builds.
Yeah, no. I'm mostly build based. There is going to be kind of like if you start going down this tree, then like I'm still debating if you're going down this tree, you're stuck in this tree for like a couple to fine tune your class and to be like being this identity until you can start like spreading out to something else. Or just being able to freeform it, whatever. Like I'm still in the debate of that. Like I know.
How do you feel about
Cataclysm did that?
Yeah. How do you feel about being stuck on a tree? By every 5th level or so, you get a prestige point that you can either spend on a different tree, or like in addition to the skill point that you regularly get, or like there's a super tree that has a good benefits for like a lot of the classes.
There's just like a skill pool you can dip out of.
Like, like every X amount of points you get like kind of like feats and
kind of like a master feat.
Yeah. Like you get a feat, which is essentially a generalist skill, but you, for example, if you want to be a caster with a little bit more beef, every X amount of levels, in addition to the skill tree that you get, you can just pull in and go like, okay, so there's a general skill tree that says, oh, plus to your constitution. There you go. That's what I spent my prestige point on. Or you get a skill in another tree of your choice type of thing.
I'm thinking I might do kind of like Pathfinder does with the like use the witch as an example. Like I have a hex that I basically get, and like every other level or something like that, I get additional hexes.
Yeah.
But then at like certain levels, I get a grand hex or something like that. So like you can grab a grand hex and modify it that way, which is already an existing system. But I think it would help define like there would be some that kind of value one class over the, or like one tree over the other, but like you can still dip into the other one. It might just not be as valuable.
I think what I'm proposing is rewarding for reward's sake, as opposed to like, here's a design system that I want you to think about. But I mean, who knows at that one. I think it would be better for like the system to allow you to dip into other trees. But you also fall into the trap that a lot of other people do without a respec system of, yeah, I'm a disciplined shadow priest.
Yeah.
yeah.
And then you're just not good at either. Right? Like
maybe then, well, I guess that's why like the single track level up system of specific classes is more popular. It's because it's harder to fuck up. And that's why feats are free flowing and spells are free flowing, because for spells, there's generally a way to respec them in lore, as well as your store's popular at the moment.
Wait. No. Jesus Christ. I'll take care of this.
Whereas the traps are in
Jesus
Pathfinder
Christ.
as an example. More so based off of I have a main class that is good at doing things, but my feats are shit. And like that's a trap that's very common, I think, in that game.
Yeah, and I want to make sure that like the skill tree feels like a feat system that just makes more sense to like the class itself.
I see.
Every level is a benefit of some sort. And it's
I think every level of having like a feel good, I get to spend points on a track type of thing is pretty nice.
Yeah, and there's like you get an ability, and then like if you put points into that ability, it augments it in a way. Like for instance, I have one that's like my rogue type character is more of a psionic sort of thing. So instead of like hiding in plain sight, they just mess with the perception of enemies around them to make them feel as if they're disappeared, or like have a better chance of hiding, or like stepping out of the shadows. Ooh, spooky type.
I like perception blocking for stealth. That's a lot of fun.
Yeah. So instead of like it being like I'm sticking to the shadows, it's literally like I am shadows to you. Like my teammates know where I am. I'm not hiding to them, but to you, I seem like I'm just like a shimmer or something like that. They're called the shimmer.
Yeah, it's more eldritchy. Like you need an X amount of insight in order to see you.
Kind of, yeah. So yeah, I call it the shimmer, and their thing is kind of psychic rogue, where like if they do like a backstab to you, the reason it does bonus damage is because they're frying your brain and perceiving the backstab to be way more disruptive to their organs than they actually think it is, and their brain actually hurts them more.
That's a lot of fun. I like that. Yeah.
So they do a lot of psychic augmenting to their attacks, and you can do either more of the stealth-based stuff, so like messing with their perception and like giving you bonuses to hide, giving the team bonuses to hide, or like distracting your opponent. So like, when you get in, like if you infiltrate first, you can like, oh, what's that over there? Like make kind of everybody perceive a sound and turn. That way when your opponent or when your team attacks, like they get a little backstab bonus because they're all like, oh my god, they were all flat-footed and shit. Kind of stuff like that. Like you can be a support stealth, or you can be like the single stab, like real hard style stealth.
I like
different trees.
I like that can also be because I think my favorite class idea in Dungeons and Dragons 4th edition was the Warlord, because they had the ability to look at you, and their healing ability was, oh yeah, you think that hurt? No, it didn't.
I have another class kind of like that.
Yeah.
They're charisma based. I can't remember what I actually called them, but like literally all of their abilities are kind of like just like these weird charismas, like master of the room or something like that. And like when they enter, they're kind of like a tank in a way. So I kind of have like tanks and healers and things, and they're more of a tank because they're commanding people to look at him, being like, look at these pearly whites. Don't you just want to punch him in the face? And people I don't want to fucking punch him in the face. And then they kind of take aggro that way.
That's what Jacob Lash thinks he is.
Basically, yeah. So I've been working on a kind of they're kind of a bard-esque class, but more of a tank. So
yeah, it's got a lot of flavor. I like that a lot. You can do a lot with stuff as general but as specific as that, I guess.
So I'm working on it. I got work to do.
I'm working
here. So that was introspection, and then followed by talking about RPG Lads.
I adore the cadence. I guess the dissonance rather of you're gonna listen one week, and it's gonna be me yelling at you about whether or not the Chupa thingy is bringing a vegetable platter to this potluck. And then the next one is, I'm actually lost in life and I don't know what to do. And people ask me if I want to do things and I don't know.
Shut up about that. My RPG.
Yeah. No, we definitely, in terms of like entertainment value, I think we needed to actually do something productive, as opposed to just us pointing out that we're sad, lonely people.
Yeah. Let's turn that frown upside down.
I guess less lonely, more sad. Turn down the lonely a little bit. Put up the sad. Real.
There you go.
Yeah. No, we've had a good support system. We just
Now I want to work on that, and then like that book thing that I mentioned ages ago. I want to work on that, and I just want to be creative this year.
We have ideas, and they should come to light because I think we have good ideas, and it would be very fun. And even if we don't think it's particularly baked, we can just bake it on the way. That's the thing
about art.
That's the thing about art. Less than science is we can bake it on the way.
Bake it on the fucking way. And that's why I got an easy bake oven. It's in the back seat. We're going to this potluck.
I was just about to say, while we're going to this potluck.
So next time on Loot Lads.
Man, how did this happen? Oh my god.
Oh Christ, that killed me. Oh, oh, Jesus. Just like undercooked batter.
Shit, we gotta make a bread or something out of this. What do you think? Are there apples on the way? We could make a shitty strudel.
Pick them. It's just like an orchard that we just climbed the fence over.
No, we just drive in and we just
fuck.
We just slap the apples out of the trees and whatever lands in the car lands in the car.
It's the worst Fast and Furious movie.
We have to make apple turnovers or whatever. Yeah.
It's not about family. It's about feeding.
If we do another potluck, I think I want to make some fucking apple turnovers or whatever.
There was, all right, I know this is like end of the episode, but there was a raspberry braid pastry my mother made ages ago where it was like a raspberry cream cheese pastry and you braided it all together. Oh my God, it was fucking incredible. I still think about that.
I don't know how much I love apple strudel until I think about it again.
Right?
Fuck me. Oh, fuck me. Devin! Right now!
1 sec, I need to buy this card.
Oh, that's a cool card, actually.
Next time about the lads.